生蚝刺身，凉拌拍黄瓜，凉酱茄子，虾饺，春卷，烧麦，点心，猪肉生菜包，卤水豆腐，芝麻海带，蜜汁叉烧肉，脆皮烧肉，鱼头豆腐羹，虾肉豆腐羹，蟹肉玉米汤，酸辣汤，海鲜豆腐羹，玉米羹，云豚羹，海鲜豆腐煲，蒙古羊肉豆腐煲，咸鱼鸡粒豆腐煲，烧腊扣肉，家乡毛豆，上汤龙虾，椒盐龙虾，葱姜龙虾，四川龙虾，清蒸油水包，姜葱肉蟹，椒盐肉蟹，花雕居蟹，黄子蟹，油水生虾，油水新斑，油水三刀，油水青衣，油水明炉，生猛带子，脆皮炸鸡，姜葱霸王鸡，东江盐焗鸡，四川鸡球，北京鸭，长亭外，古道边，芳草碧连天。晚风拂柳笛 阳山外山，天之涯，地之角，知交半零落。一壶浊酒几余欢，今宵别梦寒。长亭外，古道边，芳草碧连天。晚风拂柳笛声残，夕阳山外山。天之涯，地之角，知交半零落。一壶浊酒几余欢，今宵别梦寒。跑马溜溜的山上，一朵溜溜的云哟，端端溜溜的挂在康定溜溜的城哟。月亮弯弯，康定溜溜的城哟。李家溜溜的大姐，人才溜溜的好友，张家溜溜的大哥，看上溜溜的他哟。月亮弯弯，看上溜溜的他哟。一来溜溜的看上人才溜溜的好友，二来溜溜的看上会等溜溜的家哟。月亮弯弯，会等溜溜的家哟。世间溜溜的女子，任你溜溜的爱哟。世间溜溜的男子，任你溜溜的求哟。月亮弯弯，任你溜溜的求哟。
Well, thank you. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Dharawal people as the custodians of the land on which Campbelltown Art Centre sits. I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and all Indigenous people who may be streaming with us today. My name's Akil Ahmed. Welcome to Real Real number 5 with Jason Phu and his collaborators. So I'll just begin by introing everyone. We have Jason right here, Verity Mackey, Mimi Phu, Jason's mum, and then in the band over there we've got Kartika Suharto-Martin on the flute, Joanna Brooke on the cello, and Chloe Kim on the drums. So yeah, I guess let's begin by just like talking about the process of making the work, and because I guess you've never, I guess you come from primarily a visual arts background, like you've done performances obviously, but you're working with people you've never collaborated with before, and yeah, just.
Well, I guess it started from last year, being approached by Jess from Campbelltown, who's moved on, but having conversations with her, the work looked very, very, very different. I think I was going to have lion dancers and a cowboy with a whip, so with multiple performers and all that. So it sort of really switched to what I call this sort of surreal, abstract Chinese opera. And it was from, I guess, talking with my mum lots about her days as a performer and just researching the history of Chinese opera. I mean, there's some obvious references, but it's really my own thing in some ways. So, yeah, and I think the format of Real Real, obviously, it's a 2-week residency, and you really make things then, and yeah, and picking the people that you're working with. So, yeah, I guess I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah.
Great start. I think, yeah, a bit later maybe we'll talk about some of the stories that are kind of like played out by the characters in the different scenes there. But yeah, I guess, yeah, what it was like you were talking about those discussions with your mum. Maybe it'd be good to talk about some of that. Like maybe if you'd like to maybe talk about your training, yeah, yeah, your background in performance and.
Oh, I went to the Peking Opera School since when I was 13 for 8 years. Had a very formal singing and dancing training. Sometimes like gymnastic, have to, do a lot of kung fu's, practice, learning things here. And after 8 years, I didn't go to the Peking Opera Theater. I went to the drama theater because my parents, they all doing this. So I went there. Since then, I never performance for the Peking Opera. That's the first time I'm on the, on the stage since I came to Australia.
Yeah.
And I almost forgot everything. And
I think you still got it.
Yeah. So like a real practice, Yeah, I really enjoyed very, yeah.
Yeah, so what was it like working with Jason on this, I guess having not performed, but then I guess also, yeah, working with your son?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I just help him, and also I found it very fun to know a lot of people around him, and also I know what the modern art, what the kind of art he's doing,
Yeah.
and also I learned a lot from that.
Mm. Yeah,
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll go also back to, I guess, you're talking about the modern art that Jason makes, and I guess like those roots in traditional, and you were talking about the research that you've been doing into kind of like the traditional like Chinese forms. But yeah, I guess something that you talk about is like making Chinese Australian work, and I guess like what, like how this, like, I guess, yeah, working with those traditional stories and like, like how you kind of come to play with those.
Yeah, I think my friends are very used to me going on rants about this, but the whole being Chinese Australian isn't two halves of one whole. You know, it's its own thing. Obviously, it has its roots in cultures and tradition from the motherland or the homeland, whatever you want to call it. But that, not two indistinct parts. It's one. It's its own thing. So when I'm making art, I'm very aware I try not to sort of self-orientalize myself, and to create something that I feel is genuine. Whether that translates or not is another question, but that's the nature of making art is, you leave a lot to the viewers to sort of feel or decide. So, that's, I guess, what it's about.
Yeah, cool. I guess something that I was really interested in was the way that you use text in this. I mean, you use text a lot in your visual work, like your works on paper, or installations as well, largely painted. And I guess I was curious about the way that you use text in this, because I guess calligraphy functions a bit differently to the text in this, which is spoken, and then also there's visual text, which is subtitled. So I guess there's a few things which I'm interested in, which is I guess the way that language functions in it, but then also the way that subtitles work differently to calligraphy, and how you kind of approach that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot in my 2D work. I talk a lot about that. But for the song, for people who don't speak Chinese, the menu at the start is actually from the Golden Century restaurant. But then she keeps saying that, and then the poem comes up. And then the two songs in the second scene, there's no translation in the subtitles at all. They're just songs I'm used to hearing my mum and dad humming or singing, and that happens a lot where I'm used to a tune, or a song, but I don't really understand what it means because the words may be too complex for me to understand. And with Chinese poetry as well, it's so indecipherable. Even if you speak the language fluently, there's so many meanings within each word. But that's a whole language thing as well. But for me, the use of the language is about using it genuinely. So I could have translated it fully, but I don't fully understand the song, so I'm translating the gist of the song, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting because I guess subtitles are supposed to be for I guess access to language that you don't have, but I guess if you don't have that to begin with, it's another thing. So I guess for non-Mandarin speakers, it's there's just a few different layers of translation of the language into whatever it is that.
Well, for me, access comes in a lot of forms, and I think language is important, and it is a very basic access. But there are, even if it was fully translated, there are things that people who haven't had my experiences or my background wouldn't understand anyway, even if it was translated. So for me, it sort of doesn't really matter if they don't understand that, but they might understand another aspect.
Yeah.
Or maybe people can't read English. There's another aspect they can appreciate through the performance as well. So.
Yeah, cool. Would you like to talk about working with Verity on the costumes, or would you like to speak, Verity, about what it was like working with Jason on this?
I mean, firstly, it's always such a privilege to be trusted with someone else's culture and cultural imagery and symbols and things like that. It's always a huge honour when someone asks me to explore that with them. I guess Jason asked me to be a part of it, and I was really excited because I've always loved his work and his 2D work particularly, and it was really nice to kind of try and imagine how our practices could meet. I guess process-wise, Jason just sent me on. Sorry, I'm very distracted by the fact they're all wearing their masks still. It's really funny. Jason and I just kind of talked online and sent me lots of references, anything from pretty vast, wide range, anything from kind of Met Gala, Cardi B dress to, a 10-year-old's taco outfit made out of cardboard. And also traditional references and Chinese opera references as well. Soap operas, yes. So it's really nice, wide range of imagery to kind of pick from. And then also beautiful working with 4 strong characters with strong colour coding and things like that. And then it was really about, we spent a couple of days here at Campbelltown together and, kind of bringing that stuff to life.
Yeah, I was quite surprised when, you said that you guys hadn't worked together, because in my mind I was like, it makes so much sense. So it's like really nice to have seen it, come together. Yeah. And I guess, with the musicians as well, I was wondering whether you guys would like to talk, or whether you would like to talk, Jason, about, the improvisational structures that you kind of like built.
I've worked with musicians before, and I think working with musicians for me, in the same way of working with performers, it's very low. What do you call it? What do you call practicing? No. What do you call it? No, when you practice something. I forgot the real. Low. Yeah, don't even know the terminology. Low rehearsal performance and music playing. So. I've worked with Kartika before on an underbelly performance. I know Joe through Kartika, and I worked with Holly, a drummer who introduced me to Chloe because Holly was overseas. So it's all, I try and work with friends, and we met up at the con, and I think the very first session I was like, oh, that's sort of perfect. I just gave them very, very basic words like angry drum or lover, and Mum was there, and it's, I try and keep things simple with how I collaborate with people and stuff. So, how did you guys find the whole thing?
Yeah, so I think this is the first time the 3 of us have played together, but from our first session, it was basically just all about following Mimi's movements and taking your lead, and the energy that we got from Mimi's performances was enough to sort of set the moods. And Jason was very pared back in just giving us a few themes and mood words. In fact, after our first rehearsal, full disclosure, Tika and I did have to Google what nefarious meant, because we didn't know, but we pretended we knew. So it was, but it was very fun sort of improvising together. And like Jason said, from the first session, it was a really good feeling, and we felt like we could really follow the really contrasting, incredibly intricate movements and characters that Mimi was creating. And then it was different each time, but in a wonderful way. And that's us.
Cool. Is there anything that you want to say before we kind of wrap up?
Oh, yeah. Thanks to the amazing team. You can't see them. They're in the darkness over there. Made it really, 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 really easy. So, and thanks Campbelltown and everyone. Yeah,
it was so nice having you.
Yeah,
so nice seeing it all come together. Cool. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. We have one more reel this year. It'll be in November. I can't tell you a date right now, but like and subscribe the Campbelltown Facebook. And stay posted. It'll be Nut Rose in November.